Hello everyone, and welcome to You've Retired, Now What? I'm here to help you navigate through these waters of deciding what's the rest of my life going to look like? What's my next phase going to look like? What have I not done that I wanted to do? I'm your host, Michael Kiffmeyer, and each week on this podcast, I give you tips and tricks, processes, and methodologies that can help you through your thought process. So we got a whole lot to talk about. Let's dive in. Hello everyone. This is Michael Kiffmeyer, and you're listening to You've Retired, Now What? The podcast where we help guide you through your retirement years and how you can make these the best years of your life. You know, when you retired, you had ideas of what you were going to do. I want you to think back on all those years and hours and days that you thought about what you were going to do when you retired. Did you have a solid plan, or did you just have an idea? You know, a plan is not a plan unless you put a timeline with the date of what you're going to accomplish each and every step to achieve your ultimate goal. Many people have what we call a fixed mindset, and a fixed mindset kind of goes like this. Well, I worked all those years, I'm retired now, and that's about as good as it gets. Or you have an open mindset and you see the opportunities before you. I was working all these years, I didn't have time to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do, and now I have time. I also want you, before you start to come up with your plan, I want you to not relate yourself back to what you used to do. I don't want you to erase all those years of experience. They're invaluable, but they don't define who you are. If you worked for a firm that had certain tasks that they wanted you to accomplish, either in manufacturing, marketing and sales, whatever it may be, that was your task. That's what you did. But now you have the time to write your own ticket, if you will, write your own plan on what you want the next phase of your life to look like and how you want to go about it. First thing you need to do is you need to come up with a vision. What kind of lifestyle do you want to live in your retirement years? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about how you were going to go about it? Or did you just kind of push it aside and say, well, someday I'll get to it? Guess what? Someday never happens. It's like my neighbor across the street that has a car that's been on 4 jacks for 10 years. That's my retirement. That's my retirement project, he always would tell me. Guess what? He's been retired for almost 2 years now, and nothing's happened with that vehicle. So if you procrastinate, it's going to destroy your progress in whatever you want to do. I know you might have fears. You know, when you worked, you used to know exactly who you were, what was expected of you, and what you had to do each and every day. You never thought about this, but you had a lot of friends and colleagues that you worked with, which made work not only interesting, but it gave you a sense of fulfillment. Many times it wasn't just a job, it was part of who you were, and it was fun. But those days are not there right now, and you're going to have to decide, how am I going to design the next phase of my life? So the first thing I would like you to do, I want you to come up with a vision. Take a piece of paper, or either type it out on your laptop, phone, or computer, and kind of say, here's what I'd like to do the rest of my life. And then just kind of list each and everything. There's no set rule on how many items you need to have. This is your life, and you can design it the way you want to live it. The next thing you need to do is you need to come up with a mission statement. Vision is what we want, mission state how we're going to go about it. And the best way to do that is list the task on each step to get towards your goal. Maybe you want to sit down a timeline, and I encourage you to do so. Great example is I want to lose 25 pounds in the next 2 months. So you need to write down, like, what am I going to do each day? How am I going to eat? What kind of exercise am I going to do? And how do I start to map my progress so I'm ensured that I'm getting to exactly where it is that I want to be? So probably the third thing you need to take a look at, and it's all encompassing sometimes, and it's scary to think of. You need to think of your financial well-being. Used to be that you could plan to retire at 65 and maybe you live to 70, 72, and you could plan out for that time span in your life. However, we're living longer now, an extra 25 to 30 years past retirement. That's almost a career if that's what you want to do. But you need to decide, what am I going to do to fill my time? Sure, the first couple years, maybe even 3, it's what I call the honeymoon period. You can do what you want and just kind of hang out and do whatever. But let's face it, you came from either the corporate world or the manufacturing or the logistics world, and your mind's wired to have a sense of accomplishment, do everything that you need to do each and every day. When you don't have that in your life, you've got a huge void. I'm not saying you cannot get it, you certainly can, but it takes time, it takes work, and it takes commitment. And you need to make sure that you're ready to do that. So probably the fourth thing I'd like to tell you is that, number one, you can't just sit it and forget it anymore. What do I mean by that? People just thought that once they retired, they didn't have to worry about their investments too much, and they were done. They might have met with a financial advisor in the past and think, well, okay, he did his job or she did her job. Now I don't need that anymore. Nothing could be any further from the truth. Inflation has hit us hard here in 2024. People are struggling to make ends meet, especially retirees who thought they had enough savings and pension and income, and all of a sudden they find out some of their pensions getting eaten up by increased interest rates, with taxes they hadn't planned on before. What a financial advisor can do for you now, it can revisit your initial plan and let's make some adjustments. Laws and rules change, and you need to adapt to those rules so that you know that you're financially stable. Probably the fifth thing that you need to do, and these are not mandatory, these are suggestions based on my experience. I've got a background in adult learning, and one of the hardest things I've had to do when I'm teaching, especially in corporations and organizations, is change management. People want to do it the way they always did it, but the way you always did it might not work today. Things change. I know we'd like to have a nice, even life. It doesn't work that way, does it, folks? It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, and you always got to stay a step ahead. I do want to encourage you to relax and travel and have fun, but I also want you to be aware that nothing stays the same. Change is inevitable. So if you make a commitment to yourself to change, experience has taught me it takes 90 days for a person to change. I'll give you a great example. We might have been introducing a new piece of software to a major organization, and it could do everything the old process couldn't do. However, people always wanted to go back to the old way, and that didn't increase their productivity. Matter of fact, it actually hampered it somewhat because they were unwilling to bend. If you're willing to make the commitment, and you're willing to give change an honest and decent try, you're going to be amazed at what you can accomplish in 90 days. And it kind of goes like, do you want to be in the same place this time next year, or do you really want to do something about it and start living the life that you always dreamed about? Living a life that you always dreamed about, it's not just for others. You can do this as well. You got to get outside of your comfort zone a little bit. You have to stretch yourself a little bit, and you have to embrace new ideas, new thoughts. Maybe all of a sudden you find something you want to do completely different what you did in your working life. There's no reason why you can't do it. Only person you have to answer to now is yourself, and probably your significant other. Everybody else is, you work too hard for too long doing what others told you and what they said you were all about. You don't have to do that anymore. You decide and define exactly who you are and where you want to be and how you want to go about it. Hey guys, real quick, if you've been struggling to answer the question, now what, after you've retired, I'd like to invite each and every one of you to my free Now What challenge that can help you reignite your spark, give yourself a sense of direction, try to decide exactly what it is you want to do in this next phase of your life. People are very smart and they get worn out. I know that. But eventually they know they got to do something more. And you need a purpose to get up and out of that bed each and every morning. I have tools, processes, and methodologies that I'm going to share with you in this challenge that I believe will help you clear your mind and decide exactly what you're going to do in this next phase of your life. Many people are very frustrated by the time they end their working years for no other reason that they felt their hands were almost tied. They felt like they were almost a prisoner to the job. Wouldn't it be much more enjoyable now to relax, work? You define the hours, and as long as you're making progress, nothing can stop you. And progress can be very small, but you got to give yourself some grace and know that there's other things that in this life except working 60, 80, and 90 hours a week. Probably number 5, I really want you to follow your passions. And your passions are you want to do all these things that have been tugging at your heart and they've been in your mind. 9 times out of 10, our biggest problem is that 8 inches between both ears, that we get stuck in our mind and we can't move forward. So what I help people do, and what my mission is to help people get unstuck, to help people to kind of have a blueprint on what their next level is and what that might look like. And the good news is, just like we do in development, when perhaps we developed an online course, we worked in an iterative fashion. We do a little bit and then we test it in front of the audience, and if that didn't work, we erased that and added another piece until it was kind of like a pitch and toss, so that the person or the organization could get to the exact goals that they were looking for. The next step you need to take care of, you need to take care of your health. And this will probably be number 6. You need to take care of your physical health. You need to take care of your mental health as well. Doctors will tell you, once you pass the age of 50 into 60, things start to go wrong with the body. It wears out. I remember asking my doctor once, he says, well, here's the problem with this. And I've been pretty athletic most of my life. And I thought, man, did I do that for nothing? Now, the body actually wears out and parts wear out. You need to take care of it. You need to take care of your mental health as well. You know, people that don't engage, they lose their their actual thought process sometimes. They lose their cognitive abilities, and it's all because they don't exercise their mind. I implore you to exercise your mind each and every day, because it will give you that sense of purpose. It will give you that reason to get up and get out of that bed each and every morning. Plus, you're learning new things. Hey, how about if you read something and you started to investigate a little bit, and then all of a sudden, here you were standing and had no idea what you wanted to do. You said, I think I'd like to try this. I think I could do this. And voila, you have a new path to go forward in your life. This life was meant to be enjoyed, and it was meant to be fulfilling. And gosh darn it, it was meant to be fun. But it's always not that way, is it? But you also need to work, number 7, you need to work on your social interactions. Remember earlier when I talked about all these friends and colleagues that you had when you worked? Well, they're still there, but they're working now and you're not. And you can real quick get a sense of isolation and loneliness. So to combat that, you need to maybe join a group that you're interested in. It could be a book group. It could be maybe you're a car enthusiast. It could be an automobile. Maybe you're involved in your church and they have little study groups, and you can share thoughts back and forth. This all keeps your mind moving, keeps you alive, and get one more thing to feed into your sense of purpose. So social interaction is very important. So in this world today, probably number 8 is technology is a vital part of our lives now. And I don't want to hear you say, well, I really am not very technical, etc. Look, they've made it so easy. They being the software manufacturers and the hardware manufacturers, be it your iPad, your Android, your iPhone, whatever it may be, that all you got to do is point and click. And speaking of that, when you start to investigate, especially places like Google and Quora, you'd be amazed at what kind of information you can find. And you know what you can do while you're looking at that information? You can also interact with like people. And this will help you with what your ultimate plan is going to be. One of my purposes on this podcast is to build a community with like-minded people that kind of share some of your same thoughts. If you are frustrated, if you are scared, if you have fears, don't you think some of the other folks that are in this side of this podcasting community, don't you think they feel the same? So the 9th thing I would like you to do, and we probably should put this first, I'd like you to keep a journal so you can map your progress each and every day. And with that progress, you're going to get a sense of who you are today. Your job was what you did, but it wasn't who you were. Now it's time to find out who you are. When you were working, I would say many of you didn't have the opportunity to really dive into who you are. Well, you have the time now. There's no reason why you can't be introspective on a regular basis and say, this is how I feel, this is what I want, I don't think I'm getting there, maybe I need to readjust. That's what I'm calling a open mindset. An open mindset is you're willing to accept change and go towards the future. And finally, the last thing that you need, number 10, many of you need a blueprint on how do I start this process? How do I, get from point A to point B all the way to point Z? I'm not sure. I have some ideas, but I don't know how to put it all together. So for those of you that are looking for ways to put it together, I'd like to offer the opportunity to join my free challenge in October. It's going to be the Now What Challenge. And the Now What Challenge is designed to help individuals like yourself to understand what they want, why they want it, and how are they going to do it. And I'm going to offer processes, methodologies, a blueprint on how to do it on your own, and I even have opportunities that I can help you get to where you need to be if you so choose to do that. So this challenge is 100% free, and it is not something that you can say, well, I need to know what I'm all about in a month. I'm probably not going to work that way. What about 3 months? Well, if you work hard, yeah, I could work in 3 months. But what if it doesn't? Are you on a timeline that you can't take 6 months if that's what you need? I say you're not on a timeline, and if you need 6 months, that would be wonderful. Wouldn't investing 6 months into yourself be a better idea than being in the same place, in the same situation a year from now? So one of the things I like about retirement is it's like a second chance. It's like a second chance to rewrite your life. And for so long we've had life in segments. First we got educated, and then we got a job, and then we started to work that job. Well, now it's there's many moving parts, and you define how it's going to be for you. You don't have to do it that way all the time. A lot of people say, well, I'm too old to do something new. No, you're not. I want to share with you, I was 38 years old before I ever touched a computer seriously. And guess what? I've got a background in education. I used to be a teacher, but I learned how to marry education to technology, and it was a whole new career path for me. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just giving you an example of what you can do. When I was in college, and I got to tell you, I grew up in a little small town, and I was pretty sheltered, and I had things open up to me. I got a job part-time, which led to full-time when I was going to college, and I never knew there were positions like that. And it led me to a career initially into the apparel industry. And I did that for many years, and then I switched to the technology industry. I knew something was going on, and I didn't want to be left behind. I saw many folks working with technology no matter what level. They could have been a podcast, they could have been a programmer, they could have been an artist, but there was all these moving parts. And the great news about the internet, it changes it used to be every 18 months. I'd venture to say it changes about every 9 months now. Things change. Many people are afraid of the new trend in artificial intelligence. Don't be afraid. It can help you accomplish more in less time. And it's almost like your own personal assistant. If you ever dove into it, it's not something to be scared of. So many people say, well, it's going to replace our jobs. Well, some of them they are. I mean, think back of jobs that you've watched get eliminated in your lifetime. When's the last time you went to a photo booth? Not there anymore. How about that friendly elevator operator? He's not there anymore. And guess what? Administrative assistants inside of organizations, they're far and few between right now, because we have other tools that'll let us automate work processes and methodologies, and we can use that, software or automation tools to get further ahead. You can do the same thing in retirement. You don't have to be a technical genius. You just got to be willing to try. You don't have to use technology at all if you find something that matches your values with your interest. So let's go back to my challenge for a second. In this challenge, I'm going to give you processes, methodologies to help you determine what is your blueprint for this next phase of life. I would appreciate each and every one of you that listens to this podcast. I have a lot of topics, but if there's something that you would like to hear about or like to us to bring up and discuss, please reach out. I'm on all the social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I will answer your questions, and we can go from there. My name is Michael Kiffmeyer. I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to help you in this next phase of life to see that you can make your vision become a reality. Thank you. Hey, before we conclude this episode, I'd like each and every one of you to know that your thoughts, your dreams, and what you would like to get out of this podcast is valuable to me. My whole goal and my mission is to serve you like I have served others. For years I had taught major corporations how to use learning as a competitive advantage. I want to do the same for you. So please leave your notes or reach out to me, and I want to gear this podcast towards your wants and needs and help you as much as I can. Again, this is Michael Kiffmeyer, and you've listened to You've Retired, Now What? I want to thank each and every one of you for listening.